Can make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we adopt the agenda for today.
Oh, excuse me,
Madam Chair, you had discussed,
right, we need to amend the
you
agenda.
want to amend,
Yes,
and the question that the chairwoman called me on and we discussed was allowing the speakers to speak in open session, not in closed session. And you can certainly amend an agenda when it's a non-action item. And having somebody speak, of course, is a non-action item. So if you want to amend the agenda to allow Senator Jackson, Representative Bernstein, Councilwoman Mackey, and if you also wanted the representatives of the Project Clubhouse to speak, that would be open session about not executive session, not contractual matters, but just, whatever the issues would be, you just would need to amend the agenda. And you can still go in executive session for all of those items.
okay, we will amend the agenda. Now, do I need a motion to?
I would
amend?
move that you have open session for comments from Senator Jackson, Representative Bernstein, Councilwoman Mackey, and the representatives of the Project Clubhouse to speak, and you can ask questions, you could do whatever you wanted to. There's no action that's going to happen from that, so you can amend the agenda for that.
Okay. We'll presently amend the agenda to have the officials speak. I would like to recognize and welcome.
I'd make the
Yeah,
motion.
Okay,
I
make
think
the
one of us needs to do it, right?
Why don't you?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we amend the agenda to allow Senator Jackson, Representative Bernstein, Councilwoman Mackey, and those associated with Project Clubhouse to speak. And that's it.
Madam Chair, I second the motion.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsey,
Yes,
Commissioner Miller. Yes. Commissioner Mobley,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
motion passed.
okay,
Then I would invite Senator Jackson up. That would be the first thing on the agenda.
okay. Representative Senator,
You can come together or however you want to do. Yes, come together would be fine. You're just speaking in public up there at the microphone.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and to members of the commission. Thank you so much for allowing us this opportunity to speak. And let me begin by thanking you all for your public service. I know that it is not an easy task. And it is one that demands a whole lot of your time. So on behalf of the Richland County delegation, I'd like to thank you all for your commitment to this county and for your public service. Representative Bernstein and I are here both representing the delegation to just share with you some of the sentiments of the delegation of what we think is going on, some of the expectations, I guess, of the Richland County delegation as it relates to recreation here in Richland County, and to share that with you here tonight. As many of you know, Representative Howard, the chair of the delegation, appointed me as the liaison between the delegation and this body, the Recreation Commission. So I am happy to be here, and again, thank you for the opportunity. Let me begin by saying that we are in some very unusual but great opportunity times here in Richland County and with the state. Many of you perhaps have heard of the tremendous surplus that exists with state funding and some of the opportunities that we could use those funds to better our state. One of the things that we think we could do together by working together, and we have been in communication with the city of Columbia. Certainly Councilwoman Mackey is here, who's done a great job with county council, is how can we work together collaboratively to do something really great for Richland County? And I mean something really great for Richland County. Something that will move the needle as relates to our reputation with recreation. I think down through the years, this commission has done some great things. I really appreciate the parks that exist in my district and throughout the county. But I think we have a once in a lifetime opportunity to do something even greater that will attract tourists and will attract people from all over the country to come to Richland County. The advantage we now have is that we have the cooperation with the county. Chairman Paul Livingston, former Chairman Paul Livingston, and I talked when I was chair of the delegation. Current chair, Overture Walker, has been in communications with us, with the city of Columbia. The new mayor, Daniel Rickerman, is really on board. The city manager, Teresa Wilson, other city council members have said, if we can come together to put together something that will really be great for Richland County, now is the time to do it. What we are committed to from the delegation standpoint, Representative Bernstein, myself, and other members of both the House and the Senate, is to see if we can take advantage of some of the funds that are available to, for instance, do what I know you are talking about, a major destination site here in Richland County. We aren't just talking about a park that you could fund or that the county can fund. We are talking about something that will be unlike anything in the Southeast coast that people from all over can come here to do. Many of you perhaps have children or family members who've played AAU or done tournament. I've had some daughter play niece, she's like a daughter, played basketball, traveled all over the country, eventually won a scholarship to Duke University, and now she's coaching in Boston. And she came through the parks of Richland County. Well, one of the things that we often wondered when her parents were taking her all over the country was, why aren't we coming here? Why can't these tournaments be played here? And the answer was very simple. We did not have the facility. We did not have the facility. And I will tell you quite honestly, I'm not sure we had the willpower or the desire to put it together, because perhaps we did not understand the magnitude of it and what kind of industry that is. Now everyone is on board. City Councilman Will Brennan contacted me. We contacted Councilman Paul Livingston. All of us have put our heads together to say, the city says we're in. The county says we're in, county council. The state delegation says we are in. I would tell you quite honestly, our reservation is whether you're in and whether you guys will have the desire, the willpower to actually push this over the finish line. And I want to be quite honest with you, because I commend your service and what you're doing. But if we miss out on opportunities to put Richland County on the map as it relates to recreation from a national standpoint, it will simply be because we could not bring all the people together to put the puzzle together. Everything else is there. City is there, county is there, state's there. Question is, will you be there? And so I've been asked by the delegation to come to say to you that it is so important for us to make this work. And there are other projects that you're going to talk about today that I'm in full support of. What Representative Bernstein is talking about and others, I think that they are fantastic also. But I think we have a once in a lifetime opportunity to take advantage. And let me tell you why. Because of where some of us are positioned with the state, with our seniority, with our positions on Ways and Means, on Finance Committee, bipartisan support. I mean, we aren't just talking about partisan politics, because this is something we all are signing off on. There's no distinction between the Republicans and the Democrats. We have really high-ranking Republicans on Ways and Means Committee. We have others there. I serve as number 3 in seniority with the Senate. There are other members of the delegation that serves on the House Ways and Means Committee in high positions. We are in a position to fight for our county. Now, it doesn't mean that we're going to ask anybody to do anything unfair. We don't want that. But I would tell you that as we are fiddling and as we are contemplating, Greenville is not. Charleston, they're not. They are making their requests known. They are moving because they see what we see. Other areas like what has happened in Rock here in York County, one of the fastest growing areas in our state. What is going on down at the coast with Horry County. They have people in great position. One of my dearest friends in the Senate, we came to the Senate together 29 years ago, if you can believe it. Senator Luke Rankin, he's now chair of Judiciary Committee. He's a fierce fighter for his area. And he and I jokingly talk about when we're in competition to fight for the same things. We love each other as brothers, but we want our state to be well, but we want our county to be well. And so it is important to us that projects like this get done. It is important to us that this commission, we all disagree on different things, but we cannot appear to be dysfunctional. We cannot appear to have no leadership continuity. I was here when the director was hired, and there are those of us that were in Richland County who perhaps advocated for other people to be in this position. This commission, many of you were not on it at the time, some of you were. You saw fit to do something else. And we understood that. We understood that. And I mean, in fact, I said to one of the commissioners, to 2 of the commissioners, I said, if you're going to Virginia to get a director of recreation, she better be Michael Jordan, okay? Because there are lots of people in South Carolina. I want you to know that I am not disappointed in what she has done. And I think the director has done a great job. And now some of the people who were skeptical of her at first are now some of her biggest supporters. All I'm saying is that if we're going to get a multi-million-dollar project with the city and the county and the state all working together, it's important that we all come together. Because if we don't, I think the consequences will be very dire. I think there was an appetite, some of you remember this, in which county council advocated for us to turn the commission over to the county. Why should the delegation appoint while we fund? We fought hard not to do that. Because we felt then, we do now, that to have citizens such as you in your position that are from the community is much better than having 8 or 9 bureaucrats making those kind of decisions. But what we fought for, we hope we never would have to regret that if we blow opportunities to do something that is good for our county. So I would say to you that as you make your decisions, and you are independent, and I am not here to tell you what to do. All I'm saying is, as commissioners, do what commissioners do. Let staff people do what they do, and let all of us come together and get this thing done. There have been talk about what Senator Jackson is for because it's here, and other people for it. Just put it wherever you want to put it. But make the best decision that would get the county on board. If the city says we're on board only if it's here, and the county says we agree, and the state says we agree, then my question to you all is, what is the debate about? Particularly if we're going to work hard to help find the funding to make these kind of projects work, I'll leave you with this. Listen, we all love recreation. I told you about my niece who went to Duke, graduated with 2 degrees because she came through the Recreation Commission, now coaches in Boston. I have a nephew who thinks he's going to be the next Jackie Robinson. Okay, he's a young kid who loves baseball. Guess where he plays? Right down at the parks. He's down in Lower Richland, playing every day. His dad is coaching him. He's a great kid. I would like to see events here in Richland County where my friends from New Jersey and my friends from Florida, my friends from New Orleans, that a chairwoman, they can come to South Carolina and bring their kids to be a part of these mega events. This is the first time in all of my career, and I've been here 29 years, that we've gotten the city, the county, and the state all on board. Help us get this over the finish line. Thank you. I'll be happy to entertain any questions after Representative Bernstein.
Thank you, Senator Jackson. It's a pleasure to be here. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Beth Bernstein. Some of the newer members might not know who I am. I've been a part of the delegation and been a member of the House of Representatives. This is my 10th year, so not quite as long as Senator Jackson. So I look to him for counsel and resource for sure. But thank you for your service and the 3 new members that we just recently elected to the board. I'd like to echo everything that Senator Jackson has said, and I agree with him. And we have, I believe, 8 members of the House of Representatives on the Richland County delegation. And I'm not going to talk about specifics, but I just kind of want to talk about, we have not always had a unified board with the executive director, whatever it may have been in years past in my 10-year term thus far. But we've worked really hard, and we've got a group of volunteers. Thank you. We know that this is, you've put yourselves out there, you've applied because you love the Recreation Commission, you love Richland County, you see its importance to the community. Senator Jackson talks about his niece and his nephew, I think, I grew up going to Trenham Park, and I still have the fondest memories of growing up at Trenham Park with the Recreation Committee. We used to have the city meets there. Anyone who's from Columbia knows that. And I want to be able to make sure that we are able to provide that for the citizens of the county, and also make this an attractive place so that coaches who played basketball here don't end up in Boston, but come back to South Carolina, particularly Columbia. I've had an opportunity to work with Lakita when she was first hired, and she's done some events up at the State House and really made some overtures to make sure that we have that line of communication. And I've appreciated that, so thank you. I think the staff is in a really, really good place. And I do want to emphasize that this is a rare opportunity for us to collaborate, county, city, state. And we need the Board of Commissioners and the Executive Director and the staff to make sure that we're all on the same page here. I have heard some reports that there's some contention, and we don't need that kind of contention right now. And I think that is the voice that I'm going to present this evening is, as commissioners, we need to recognize what your duties and obligations are, and then also what the staff and the executive director's responsibilities are. And we can't get those kind of overlapped and skewed. You've got your counsel here, Bob Coble, who can probably talk to that as well. But when we look at the applications for the commissioners, and when you're up for, and you put yourselves out there to serve, it's really to oversee everything and then have the staff implement what, at the direction of the executive director, implement what this overall plan is. And I would ask that we make sure that we don't lose these opportunities because of perceived discontent with, I'm not saying that there is, but if there's a perception, it's almost as bad as if there is some kind of controversy or shift. So I would just please make note of that, and that we're all on the same page here. And we are all spending our time and energy to make Richland County the best place that it can be. And my recollection, which does not go as far back as Senator Jackson's, it's been a long time since the county, city, and state, our delegation is all on the same page. And I did want to say we are watching what you're doing, and we appreciate all of your effort that you have done thus far, Ms. Watson. And again, thank you for all of the commissioners for serving. And along with Senator Jackson, we're here to answer any questions. Yeah.
Question. I'm not being disrespectful. However, I'd like for you to explain what discontentment we're having.
Well, there's, do we have a contract? Do we have an executive director who is now serving under a contractual position? Because I think she's been here for several years. And that might be one example. We've got staff in place. We have 3 new board members. There's not a specific example that I'm going to point to necessarily, but are you telling me that there's no issue? Everybody is in sync?
I'm not telling you that. I'm just
Okay,
asking you
so
what you're referring to.
yeah, there's nothing real specific. I don't think that I'm referring to anything specific, but I think that there's a perception that there's some discontent. And if you're not disagreeing with that perception, then it appears that there might be some discontent. So we need to figure out what the root of that problem is and how we can solve it and why would be an issue. Is that accurate? Or do you want to?
No, I would agree with what Representative Bernstein has said. If there isn't, then the perception is, particularly among those of us at the delegation office, I mean, those of us who serve in the General Assembly, is that there seems to be some discontent. There seems to be not the unity that's necessary to take major projects like we're talking about across the finish line. And I'll give you an example. And I'm not here to tell you how you should run your agency, but I'm telling you that if, for instance, we decide to go after this major project and we want, from a bipartisan standpoint, to go to the state and say, we would like X amount of dollars, millions of dollars to do this. Our colleagues are going to look at us because they follow the news. Unfortunately, like Representative Bernstein and I, you guys live in Richland County, we're the seat of state government. They know the history of this agency, okay? And I would tell you that a lot of the things that have been said about the agency was not true. And I've been a fierce defender and a supporter. But before we can go and ask for millions of dollars, one of the questions would be, and who will lead this effort? And what's their tenure there? So why should the state put millions of dollars in any project when we're not sure where you stand as it relates to your leadership? That's the discontent. And I would tell you that the discontent is, she asked the question, does the director have a contract? That's easily answered, yes or no. I mean, if the answer is no, then why? All I'm saying is that we have a once in a lifetime opportunity. This opportunity will be gone by April of this year. Actually, you guys start on the budget March. This opportunity that we're talking about will be gone. If the House of Representatives doesn't join forces and says, let's put this in, comes over to the hall of the Senate, we do that, then we aren't going to be able to get it back. And all I'm saying is that if we're going to ask for that kind of funding, the questions that my colleagues should ask me, because I would ask them when they come, who's the leadership? What's the reputation? And who's going to lead this effort? And if you're telling me that you're going to allow a director to come before us that you haven't had the faith enough to give a contract, how can we in good conscience ask for millions of dollars? Listen, that's the discontent. I wasn't going to say it, but you asked the question. And when you ask the question deserves an honest, transparent answer. And that's the answer. Any other questions?
I have some, Madam Chair. You say discontentment. No disrespect, but I'm kind of bothered by that. Simply because, yes, we are a new board. There are 4 new members on this board. And our responsibility, we're not against one another, but we all have different opinions. And that's an individual thing. But when we look at these projects, my concern is who's going to pay for it. And I hear y'all say county council and all that. I hear that. But what about the people of Richland County? Does that fall on any of their backs where they have to pay for some of this? Or is it strictly coming from county council? We know that Parks and Recreation don't have a whole lot of money. We know that. So where is the money come from? Like I said, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but if we're gonna put it out there, let's put it out there. County council gonna pay for it. And Parks and Recreation, we don't have to really have anything except to maintain it. We're for it.
Let me say, Commissioner Anderson, if there's one thing we haven't asked you for, was funding, right?
Mhm.
Did I say anything to you guys about we expect you guys to come up with funding? I think I began this conversation, if you remember, that says that we are living in unprecedented times with a surplus of funds that's available at the state. Listen, as a lifelong resident of Richland County, and as someone who advocates many bonding projects in Richland County for schools and parks and everything else, I know exactly how it works. I wouldn't stand here today to ask you to join forces with us if we were expecting you to pay for it. In my 29 years of doing this, not once has the city said we are willing to step up and join in.
Okay. On
The
that
city
note,
has said that this time. And so no one has ever asked you guys to pay for anything. The only thing we want you to do is to get the ball moving. Time is of the essence. We don't have time to contemplate much longer because as we speak, other counties, they are meeting with their delegation. They are making those budget requests right now. We are waiting to put this together. And the only part that's holding us up, not the county, not the city, not the state, it's the Richland County Recreation Commission. And unfortunately, that's you guys.
and Senator, I don't think the only thing that's holding us up is the location.
But that's your call. I mean, listen, and when I say it's your call, you have to be wise enough to make a call that's going to keep the coalition together. If you choose a location that the city backs out on, or county council backs out on, then you don't have a project because you don't have the money to pay for it. But it would seem to me that you would choose a location that has the consensus of the collaborative effort of all the entities that we put together, particularly since we're not asking you for funding. Amen.
I'd like to state tonight is the first night that we actually had a copy of the multiple sports complex feasibility study that you're referring to. And that's what we were in the process of discussing tonight.
Good.
Yeah. I have a timeline of everything that we've done with this complex, but tonight is the first night we actually have a copy to look at it and to discuss with each other. And that would be concerning if we're gonna get the project or where the project's gonna be existing.
If you notice, I haven't taken a position in here and said to you guys that I will be glad to talk privately and give my private opinion based on my conversation with the city and with the county. And I do understand that, Chairwoman. You and I have been neighbors for years. In fact, your husband is one of my dearest friends. We served on the school board together when there really was some contention back then on school board. So I am not saying there's contention between you all, but I'm saying there has to be continuity between the director's office and the commissioners, because at the end of the day, to come and defend the request before my committee or her committee or others, we aren't going to ask 7 or 9 commissioners to come. It's going to be one person, and in all likelihood, it would be your director. And that's where that continuity, that's where that lack of contention between the commission and the director's office has to exist in order to get not only this project, but future projects done.
Well, I do want to say, we do have the desire to do very well. And we're always looking forward to going for new projects. But you have to give us the opportunity to study it and speak with each other about it, including the executive director.
Sure.
So I'm just asking, to be fair, tonight was our first night to discuss this feasibility report.
And
So, and if you, we're all for a multi-sports complex, but we just want the money to buy the property or to build the complex. But we have to have the money coming from you, city council, county council, the mayor, and everybody else who would be involved in this project. And that's all we're just asking for, the appropriate funding and the money to operate.
sure. And look, a lot of this can be on a contingent. If we are not successful in getting the funding, then you aren't obligated or binded to anything. You have some great people on this commission who are experts in real estate. And I can attest to that. I've worked with Rob LePen on some other projects, and he's one of the best in Richland County when it comes to that. I'm saying take advantage of your skills. All of us would like more time. But what I've learned in this legislative process, the process doesn't always have a lot of time. It has even less time when there's a lot of money involved. Okay. The more money that's available, the less time you have to analyze and contemplate, because there are so many other hands and so many other requests that's after those same funds.
And the surplus of funds that you're referring to, we definitely want to get some of that. I mean, there's no doubt if the money's there, we need the money to do operations that we're having now. So if we can have somebody showing us we're going to get this money, or through grants, whatever projects, whatever we can get, we would definitely take it to improve what we have now.
And that's what I think why we're here. We're not here for a specific project necessarily. We're here to say, we need to be a unified front. The executive director, who's going to be the point person, this commission, when we're requesting budgetary allocations from the House and Senate Ways and Means, Senate Finance, if we can get the money, we need to make sure that whether this is dysfunctional or not dysfunctional, it can't appear to be dysfunctional. And we need to be able to have a point person, as the executive director would be, in order to field questions or whatever it may be, in order for us to get you the money. Bottom line is, that's what I think, and it, you know, and to show the importance of these projects, but we really need to be on the same page here. Staff and the commission. Nurse.
I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Okay, I'm glad. Okay. No question?
So real quick, just to bring this full circle, we started the process back in April 2021, talking about travel related parks, and probably even before that, but that's when we started working with a consulting company. And then I think sometime in between April and August, this American Homes Recovery Act money became available, which is over, if I'm not mistaken, to our state between $2 and $3 billion. And I think that Mayor Bob made a presentation along with some others talking about how that money could be used by us if we could all get on the same page to get these parks, to get this park moving. And I think that's where we're at. And I think it's, there's other counties very close to us that are trying to get that money to get the parks. And we, Richland County, we need to be the leader and get it done. And so I think that the timeline is fast moving, you know, upon us, and we need to get going as fast as we can, in my opinion, to at least get the process started to request the funds to get this moving. Is that correct statement?
Yeah, and let me say, I met with Director Watson, several weeks ago. She shared with me, along with some consultants, what their vision was. It was incredible. I can't even say it here because I don't want to give away the competitive edge of what she is proposing. This project would have that no other project that we know of in this region would have. And I would tell you, I left there so impressed with it and just kept saying to myself, if we blow this, we would have no one to blame but ourselves. Look, there are no guarantees. Representative Bernstein said it. We aren't making any commitments that we can get anything from the state. All we're saying is that we want to be able to try with a unified effort so that we can go back and say, this is what we want to do. I would love to show my colleagues that plan that she showed and what the consultant showed. I know they would be as impressed as I was with that. And so I don't want us to get bogged down on where is it going to be? Does it benefit someone? And just for the record, this is a public meeting. So for the record, she nor me have any vested interest on it. Okay. Just for the record, I'm not trying to sell you land. My church is not trying to sell you land. I have absolutely no vested interest in it. The location that is one of the proposed locations was proposed by a city council person. That city council person came to me and others and said, this is absolutely a great location to make this work. Rod can attest to that. And so don't let anyone tell you that Jackson or anyone else pushing this because of any vested interest. I just don't want us to blow this in Richland County. If we do, if at the end of the day, because we don't have our stuff together, we can't make this work, then somebody needs to be accountable for that. If it's me, fine, I'm willing to. But someone needs to be, because we have this amazing opportunity at this time. And no, unfortunately, Madam Chairwoman, you don't have the luxury of a lot of time. You don't have the luxury to overanalyze, or maybe to even do it, because as we speak right now, what is this, the third week of session? The third week of session, there are requests being made right now, even as we are talking.
So you saying the requests are being made by who?
Other counties, other
Okay.
entities,
So our Richland County should be making the same requests. Is that not correct?
but we don't have anything from you guys to make. Okay, right. What I'm saying is that there are other requests to use surplus money to do things on it. You've heard the governor's proposals. You've heard others' proposals. There are no guarantees in any of that. I just want a fair chance to compete on an equal footing. I don't want to have to come in the third week in February and say, here's our proposal. And they came in the last week in December to really talk about it. Okay? That's all I'm saying. We have been talking about this for a long time. You and I talked. I was in Maine and I spent an hour on the phone. You, Madam Chair, you and I, to my wife's disappointment. You know, talking about Richland County Recreation Commission and making this happen. That was in November. That was the third week in November. We are now past the third week in January, and we are still where we were then.
And that's because we
Right.
just got this report last week.
I'm not pointing fingers. All I'm saying is that the facts are the fact is that from the third week in November to now, and I think I said to you then, the third week of November, time is of the essence. And if it was of the essence in November, you can imagine where we are today. That's why we're here tonight, asking you, let us come together. Let us make something happen. If there's nothing else, thank you all for the opportunity. Apologize for taking so much of your time, but thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Jessica Mackey with Richland County Council. I currently serve as the Vice Chair of Council and represent District 9. I've had the pleasure of speaking to a few of you, but have not actually had a chance to meet all of you face to face. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak tonight. And thank you for your service. As a newly elected council person, I understand how much time and effort you all give, and I appreciate your service. And I know to take your time and do this, you're doing this truly, you know, most people from your heart. You want to do what's right for Richland County. You want to see our county grow and move forward. That's why I ran, right? And so I know that we all want to work together. And I echo some of the comments that you heard Senator Jackson and Representative Bernstein state. This, me being on council for the past year, this has been a time where we've truly seen collaboration happen. County council, city, state, working together, talking. What can we actually do to make some change in the county? What can we do to really help give those amenities to our citizens that we know they want? We see every day how many folks are moving to Richland County. I know people complain sometimes that so much traffic, why everybody moving here, but that's great. They want to come to Richland County. And while they're here, we want them to enjoy being here. So I think we all play a part in that. And I'm glad that we're working together and hope that we can continue to work together. I wanted to talk to you tonight about Project Clubhouse. The county staff and RCRC staff have been working on this together for over a year. I understand some of you may be new and this may be a new project to you, but it has been efforts that have been going on for over a year. And at this point, we really do want to move forward. We want to have some action taken by the commission to help with this project. I know we're in open session, so there's many details that we cannot discuss about Project Clubhouse, but I think it's just continue to work together as we can all and help to move this project forward. I'll answer any questions you guys have. I know we've kind of been here a while and you guys still have executive session, but I'm happy to answer any questions that we can in open session. Okay.
How much money is Richland County considering giving us toward this country clubhouse?
I don't know. I don't know if we can answer that right now in
What?
open session.
Executive session, okay. Do you know if the community had any input in the clubhouse project? Or the community members? Has this been discussed with any of the community members?
Project Clubhouse?
Yes.
At this time, ma'am, I don't think so because you guys are still talking about this under kind of a confidentiality agreement. So I don't think it's been publicly put out there at this point.
Okay, thank you for your information.
Yes, thank you. I'm also going to have also like to have representative from Project Clubhouse come up and speak as well.
Hey, good afternoon, Councilwoman Lindsay and Commission. I appreciate the opportunity to come up. I just wanted to make you aware of who I am. I'm Randy Waters. You guys may have seen me at the last meeting also. I'm the managing member of Project Clubhouse. I have two other partners that are involved with me also. We've had that clubhouse for right at 5 years now. And I started this project with the late Chip Jackson. For those that don't know, that passed, I think it's been August a year and a half ago. He and I had sit down with a couple of other people, and he actually brought it to my attention because he came from Charleston, which had a municipal golf course. So that's where it started. I have spent considerable amount of time with the Richland County Commission, not commission, excuse me, Recreation Commission. Matthew and several other ones have come out and spent some Zoom calls with your executive team over there. So we've been working on this thing probably a year and 3 months now. I just ask, I have come, been working with council member Mackey since she came on board. So I just thought that if anyone had any questions in reference to it that I can answer in a public forum, I'll answer that question that the chairwoman had asked earlier. We have had several member meetings, 2 months notice and mail outs and all, not only to our members, but we have roughly 480 houses around that golf course. We've also mailed to them. We've had in clubhouse meetings. In fact, that's actually where my last meeting with the late Chip Jackson took place, was right after one of those meetings. So they have not been told that the golf course is going to be sold. They haven't been notified because, again, we have some members and it's not public knowledge. So as of now, they know something's going on because they've seen not only the county there, but sort of what has brought us here. We have quite a few other offers in the last year and a half. And that's really why I went to Representative Jackson to begin with. I don't want this to turn into another cricket tree ordeal. I've been an advocate of golf in this town now for 51 years. And I gave my word when I moved out there, it was going to stay a golf course. As you well know, it's worth a lot more as residential than it is a golf course. And that's again when Councilman Jackson and I had our meeting. But anyway, in that, I just ask you guys to move it forward. I know the county has paid consultants who have already been doing this for a while. And I just ask you to move it forward because I do have two partners in that operation that I hear from on a daily basis. Are there any questions? I'll be glad to answer them.
The Project Clubhouse, which buildings, does that involve the whole country club, the swimming pool, the golf
I
course? What-
think we should probably talk about this in private, the whole issue here because it is a public meeting right here.
And Chairman Lindsay, you can invite the gentleman back in specifically just to speak to that topic when we go into closed, if you would like.
Okay, thank you. I have no other questions.
Madam Chair.
Thank you very much.
I would like to ask that Mr. Waters be available during our executive session for some specific questions. If that's agreeable to Mr. Waters.
Absolutely. Thank you again for your time.
Are there any other members willing to speak for anybody, any other project?
Can I make a motion to go into executive session?
Second.
I was getting ready to do that. Thank you.
Oh, no, I gotta make it.
Okay, thank you. I just want to thank everybody who spoke tonight and gave us the insight of what's going on. And we definitely going to try to do what's right and take every advantage of the funds that we get to make our projects work. Thank you.
Chairwoman, I would just designate Project Clubhouse as a contractual matter, and the second one as a contractual matter, and the third one as a personnel matter. And you can list the names as on the agenda with that addition, clarification from a legal standpoint.
The potential property acquisition
I would just say
contract.
Project Clubhouse is a contractual matter. Potential property acquisition for athletic complex is a contractual matter, and the executive director evaluation is a personnel matter.
Okay. Project Clubhouse is a confidential
Contractual.
It's a contractual.
contractual. Property Clubhouse is a contractual agreement, and property for potential athletic is a contractual agreement, and the I don't have it. The executive evaluation will be a personnel matter.
And that can just be the motion.
Okay.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
motion passed.
No decisions were made in the
I'm supposed to make a motion.
executive session.
Madam Chair, there was one motion that was going to be made by Commissioner
had to get words
Singleton in regards to the moving forward.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Sorry.
Madam
Yes,
Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the recommendation of the executive director to form a committee regarding Project Clubhouse.
Second.
Anderson,
Yes.
Lapine,
Yes.
Lindsey,
yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Mobley,
Yes.
Singleton,
Yes.
motion approved.
I need a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Do we need to make a motion to do a subcommittee or not really?
Yes, she did. Y'all already voted.
No, that was on project.
Brittany just made it.
Project Clubhouse.
Oh, we
need
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a second motion that we are able to form a subcommittee to work on a special project.
Can we just, you can say what it is. I'd rather be public.
Gotcha. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we have a subcommittee comprised of board members to work on a matter of
Complex.
travel sports complex.
Second.
Anderson,
Yes.
Lapine.
Yes.
Lindsay.
Yes,
Miller,
Yes.
Mobley,
Yes.
Singleton.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Madam Chair, finally, I'd like to make a motion that we are allowed to adjourn this meeting and go home.
Yes.
somebody makes a motion.
Unanimous.
Second.
Anderson, second my motion.
Yes, please.
Lapine.
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Mobley,
Yes.
Singleton.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion passed.
Thank you, and I
Praise
want
the
to
Lord.
thank the
Thank
staff.
you,
I
thank
want to,
you.
I want to thank the staff for staying this